Hello, friends, and happy birthday! Is it your birthday? Did you know I have so many friends with birthdays in March? I have in my own family 3 friends with birthdays in March. Our son in law, Andrew, had a birthday yesterday. He was 28. Our daughter, Sarah, turns 28 on March 15th. And our daughter, Hannah, will be 30 years old on March 20th. So we have so much fun celebrating birthdays in March. There's another famous writer that has a birthday this month as well. His actual birthday was yesterday, and his name is Dr. Seuss. You might recognize the hat that Dr. Seuss uses in some of his stories. And he is one of those people that we celebrate when we talk about Read Across America Month or week, or Drop Everything and Read. Now, you might know Dr. Seuss's real name, but if you don't, your bag this week has some information, what we call a very small biography about him. His real name is Theodore Geisel. Theodore Geisel Seuss. His good friends called him Ted. So he's not really a doctor, but I love my shirt that says, "Trust me, I'm a doctor." Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. If you get your bag, you can do this with me. My dead one flew out. Go. There it goes. Okay, I got it to work. This book is called Happy Birthday to You by Theodore Geisel, or Dr. Seuss. Are you ready? Happy birthday to you. Cake! It's my favorite part of birthdays. I wish we could do what they do in Catrue. They sure know how to say happy birthday to you. In Catrue, every year on the day you were born, they start the day right in the bright early morn. When the birthday honker hikes high up in Mount Zorn, it lets loose a big blast on the big birthday horn. And the voice of the horn calls out loud as it plays, "Wake up, for today is your day of all days." Then, the moment the horn's happy honk honk is heard, comes a fluttering flapping, and then comes the bird. A birthday bird? Not at my house, but Dr. Seuss does things a little bit differently. The great birthday bird, and so far as I know, Carew is the only place birthday birds grow. This bird has a brain. He's most beautifully brained, with the brainiest bird brain that's ever been trained. He was trained by the most splendid club in this nation, the Catrue Happy Birthday Association. And whether your name is Pete, Polly, or Paul, when your birthday comes around, he's in charge of it all. Whether your name is Nate, Nellie, or Ned, he knows your address and he heads for your bed. You hear a soft swoosh in the brightening sky. You are not quite awake, but you open one eye. Then over the housetops and trees of Catrue, you see that bird coming to you, just to you. See his little peaky eye? I like to sleep late on my birthday. I don't know about you. That bird pops right in. You are up on your feet. You jump to the window. you meet and you greet with the secret, true, happy birthday, high sign, and shake that only good people with birthdays may make. You do it just so with each finger and toe. I didn't get my toes out today. Then the bird says, come on, brush your teeth and let's go. It's your day of all days. It's the best of the best. So don't waste a minute. Hop to it. Get dressed. "5 minutes later, you're having a snack on your way out of town on a smorgasbord's back. Today, laughs the bird, eat whatever you want. Today, no one tells you you can't or you shan't. And today, you don't have to be tidy or neat. If you wish, you may eat with both hands and both feet." I don't know about those manners. So get in there and munch. Have a big muncheroo. Today is your birthday. Today you are you. Look at that smorgasbord. All those delicious things to try and eat. Now, this is the important part about birthdays. If we didn't have birthdays, you wouldn't be you. If you'd never been born, well then, what would you do? If you'd never been born, well then what would you be? You might be a fish or a toad in a tree. You might be a doorknob or 3 baked potatoes. You might be a bag full of hard green tomatoes. Or, worse than all that, why, you might be a wasn't. A wasn't has no fun at all. No, he doesn't. A wasn't just isn't. He just isn't present. But you are you. And now, isn't that pleasant? So we'll go to the top of the toppest blue space, the official True birthday sounding off place. Come on, open your mouth and sound off at the sky. Shout loud at the top of your voice, I am I, me, I am I, and I may not know why, but I know that I like it. 3 cheers. I am I. Hip, hip, hooray. Happy birthday. And now, on this day of all days in Catrue, the association has built just for you a railway with very particular boats that are pulled through the air by funicular goats. These goats never slip, never trip, never bungle. They'll take us down fast to the birthday flower jungle. The best sniffing flowers that anyone grows. We have grown to be sniffed by your own private nose. Now, those goats are a little bit different. Dr. Seuss uses his imagination for lots of different creatures. They smell like licorice and cheese. Send 40 hoobubs up the trees to snip with snippers, nip with nippers, clip and clop with clapping clippers, nip and snip with clipping cloppers, snip and snop with snipping snoppers. What a tongue twister. All for you, the hoobubs clip. Happy birthday, Nop and Nip. Then pile with wondrous smelling stacks on 50 hippoheimers' backs. They'll take those flowers all home for you. You can keep the hippoheimers too. While this is done, I've got a hunch It's time to eat our birthday lunch. And some more very imaginative creatures that Dr. Seuss draws. Hippoheimers? For birthday luncheons, as a rule, we serve hot dogs rolled on a spool. So stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff until you've had enough. Now, of course, we're all mustard. Do you put mustard on your hot dog? So one of the rules is to wash it all off in the mustard off pools, which are very fine warm water mountaintop tubs, which were built just for this by the mustard off clubs. Uh-oh, do you see his birthday suit? Then, out of the water, sing loud while you dry. Sing loud, I am lucky. Sing loud, I am I. If you'd never been born, then you might be an isn't. It isn't has no fun at all. No, he disn't. He makes up words too sometimes. Goodness gracious. He never has birthdays, and that isn't pleasant. You have to be born to be able to get present. A present. Aha. Now, what kind shall I give? Why, the kind you'll remember as long as you live. What kind of present will you remember? Well, here comes your cake, cooked by Snookers and Snookers, the official Catrue Happy Birthday cake cookers. And Snookers, I'm happy to say, are the only cake cookers who cook cakes today, made of guaranteed certified strictly grade A, peppermint, cucumber, sausage paste butter. Ooh. The world's finest cake slicers, dutter and dutter, and dutter and dutter, with hatchets a flutter, high up on the deck, ready to cut her. That does not sound like the kind of birthday cake we enjoy. Today, you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive that is youer than you. Shout loud, I am lucky to be who I am. Thank goodness I'm not just a clam or a ham or a dusty old jar of sour gooseberry jam. I am what I am. That's a great thing to be. If I say so myself, happy birthday to me. And that is from Dr. Seuss's book, Happy Birthday to You. So I hope you enjoyed that. And you'll notice we have some other books here about Dr. Seuss. And this is one that is in our children's biography section. So it has a J, bio, B for biography. And that means that this author, Judy Sierra, wrote a book about Dr. Seuss. And it's a really good book. Imagine that, how Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat. Let's find out how he did this. 1954 was a great year to be a kid. I don't know, I wasn't quite born yet then. There were 5-cent donuts. Now that would be good, wouldn't it? There were 1-cent lollipops. Rock and roll music had just hit the record shops. A book like Charlotte's Web, The Lord of the Rings, and Horton Hears a Who were selling in bookstores. We read Charlotte's Web. Who read that along with us? I hope you liked it. 1954 was a great year to be a kid unless you were trying to learn how to read. For some reason, first graders were not making the leap from reading a few words to reading a whole book. Grown-ups were stumped about what the problem could be, but kids knew the answer. Those plain books were boring. So boring. I used to teach from those books. Those poor kids in first grade. They were boring books. A famous writer, John Hersey, agreed with the kids. He had an idea for solving their problem. He wrote about it in Life magazine. What kids needed was a beginning reader that would be so excited they just couldn't stop turning pages. Who could write a book like that? Well, only the funniest children's author in the land, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, we insist, won't you please write a book that no kid can resist? P.S. Use the words on this no-nonsense list. Ted, as he was known to his friends, had already published picture books. He had written several books that were funny, and the kids loved them. Surely he could write a first grade reading book. It would only take a couple weeks, right? So he thought. Each morning after breakfast, Ted went upstairs to his studio. He had his chair and his desk and a drawing board and a typewriter for writing. He also had a closet full of outlandish hats. When he couldn't think of the right words, he would put on a suitable hat. It's like an imagination cap. I bet you've heard that before. Put on your imagination cap before you start writing. Writing a beginning reader book was not as simple as it seemed. For one thing, Ted liked to invent words like oobleck and hipponohungus and diponodungus. You've heard some of those in his books, right? But in this book, and we're back. I shall write a rip-roaring book about a queen zebra, Ted declared. He checked the official list. Queen, not on the list. Zebra, not on the list. Maybe a book about birds. I like birds. Not on the list. No! Ted glared at the list. He spied the word cat. And he spied the word hat. Cat rhymes with hat, so I'll just start with that. He reached for his crayons and his colored pencils. Cat, sat, hat, mat, we go in thee so. All of those words are on his official list. The cat needed a whiz-bang story. Ted doodled. His stories often started with doodling. I hope you like to doodle and draw, just like Ms. Hannah does lots of good doodling and drawing. He tapped at the keys of his typewriter. He donned several different hats as he sat in his chair and stared at that list. He's got his colored pencils. He's got his creative thinking caps. In his head, Ted juggled the words on his list. Then he thought, why not let the cat juggle instead? He can juggle a rake and a book and a fan. He can juggle a fish and the fish won't like that. I will draw 2 nice kids to have fun with the cat and 2 naughty things. I bet you know their name. Thing 1 and Thing 2. I'll make a cleaner upper. I think I'll get started tonight after supper. Ted pondered. That means he thought about it. He pondered how kids learn to read. He had a hunch that easy rhymes and funny drawings would help them guess the words they didn't know. He used tricks to coax readers to turn the pages. For example, he put the word bump on the page, and it made the children turn the page to find out who made that bump. Do you remember that part of that book? Ted wrote, he redrew, he wrote, he revised. It took more than a year to write a book that satisfied him that it was funny enough, exciting enough, and all around stupendous enough for kids that were learning to read. Ted delivered his book to his publishers in New York, and they loved it. What was the name of that book again? The Cat in the Hat. Well, look, here he is doing an author signing. Look at all the children that want to buy his book. Imagine that. He had created a book with only 236 different words in one book. And then he continued writing more and more books. I know that Dr. Seuss wrote more than 40 books in his career. How many have you read? He was challenged to write a book by one of his friends, and you know that book as well. It's called Green Eggs and Ham. Well, he could write that book here or there. He could do it anywhere with the help of a clever young fellow named Sam I Am. There he is. Sorry about that. And there they are. You know those guys, right? And there is, in the back of this book, a photograph of Theodore Geisel. And it gives a little more information about him as well. Now, you might have a copy of this next book. If you do, we won't have time to read it all, but I would love it if you would get your book and read along with me right now, because that is what we just finished reading about, right? Imagine that, how Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat. And how did he write it? Think about that. Do you have this book? I hope you do. If you don't, come and check it out from us here at the library. Remember that we are open for business for you to come in, choose your own books, check them out, pick up those craft bags, and wave to us. Make sure you wear your mask when you come in, but we are hoping we get to see some of our friends in person very, very soon. I sure hope so. Get your copy and let's read along. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. I love his books that help you learn how to read because they have so many rhyming patterns in the book. I sat there with Sally. We sat there, we two, and I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out and too cold to play ball. So we sat in the house. We did nothing at all. Oh, I'm so bored. So all we could do was to sit, 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 sit. And we did not like it, not one little bit. Are you reading along with me? I sure hope so. And there's the part they talked about in the biography. Bump. And then something went bump. And that bump made us jump. We looked, then we saw him, the cat in the hat. We looked and we saw him, and he said, why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun. That is funny. I'm sorry, I misread part of that. You probably read it better than I did right there. I know some good games we could play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the cat in the hat. A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. I don't know about that part. Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. Uh-oh, Daddy must be working in the back office. What time is it? 3:58. Okay. But our fish said, no, make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out. Now, have no fear, said the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. Why, we can have lots of good fun if you wish, with a game that I call Up with a Fish. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. And I bet if you have this book, you've been able to read along with me up to this point. And I hope you enjoy finishing it. You could read it to one of your stuffed animals at home. You could read it to mom or dad or grandma or grandpa. You could read it to me. if you come in and see me soon. I would love to hear you read. That's one of my favorite parts about being here, is when my new reading friends come in and read a book to me and share what they've been reading, or tell me about a book that they have been reading. And so I hope you enjoy some of the books about Dr. Seuss. We'll be having some fun this month, Wacky Wednesday fun, and March Madness kind of fun. So I hope you'll join us again next week for some Wacky Wednesday fun. And we will be able to do some fun things with wind and make your own kite. So I hope you're ready to come back and see us again soon, friends. Come and give us a shout out, get your bag, and have a happy birthday month.